I mean, you've been in the league for almost a year now, and you can't even get some reliable Wi-Fi?
Well, I got the old virus, so I'm staying at my dad's.
Oh, well, it seems like the virus got your Wi-Fi
you got
too.
Yeah. So
you got the old
it's all
COVID.
good though.
I know, it's awful. Makes you appreciate hot wings.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that, but Chipotle for sure.
Some things don't change.
Your per diem can't get you a little more than Chipotle?
No, sir.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna need you to turn a light on at some point in that car so we can see that beautiful face of yours. Oh my gosh.
Good gosh.
But I ain't got nothing in the car. That's about all the light I can get.
All right, well, don't wreck while we're doing this, please. I would.
Well, I pulled over now. We're good.
Okay. All right.
All right. Guys, we want to welcome in former Lipscomb Bison, former teammate of Asa Duvall and myself, current Washington Wizards NBA player, Garrison Mathews. Garrison, how are you doing today?
Good, man. Appreciate y'all having me on.
So for the viewers out there that don't know much about Garrison, Garrison is the all-time leading Division I scorer at Lipscomb University with 2,478 points, 667 rebounds. He shot a career 37% from three, probably could have been higher, Garrison, and 45% from the floor, while probably being, honestly, the best Division I player to ever come out of Lipscomb University. I honestly don't even think it's arguable. He was Player of the Year in 2018, 2019, first team All-Conference 3 times, freshman All-Conference his freshman year. 44 points. Is that the all-time record, Garrison, for points in a game in the Division I era?
I believe so.
Gosh, be a little bit. Okay, so 44 points on NC State. 44 points on NC State in the quarterfinal game in the NIT tournament. He led the Bisons to the first NCAA tournament appearance in school history, as well as a trip to the NIT tournament finals, where we finished second place to Texas. He now is a Washington Wizard. He signed a 2-year deal. Last year, he shot 41% from the three and 91% from the line. Points against the runners-up in the NBA Finals, Miami Heat. Garrison, I think this is just a start for you. Obviously, we believe in you. We love you. We're glad you're here tonight. And, man, would this season just go ahead and start? Because I need to see a little more Garrison Mathews. I'm tired of not seeing Garrison Mathews on the court.
Well, first of all, I was on a 1-year deal, so something's got to happen in free agency before I get back on the court.
What's it looking like for you right now? Do you have any idea? I mean, I know obviously everything's crazy. What's it looking like for you right now?
I mean, there's a few teams that have contacted my agent and stuff, but man, it's so up in the air. I really have no clue.
Yeah.
So it's been a terrible
contacted you. I mean, I heard the semi-pro team needs you. Jackie Moon hasn't contacted you?
Oh my God.
Nah, I wish, man. That'd be good.
Goodness gracious.
That's awesome. Hey, so I want to go back a little bit. So you were playing your senior year of high school basketball, correct? And you were still debating on whether you wanted to play high or college basketball or college football. You're getting recruited for different places. You're getting a couple looks. You end up with, is it 2 offers?
For
basketball.
Like total?
Division I. I think, was it USC Upstate and Lipscomb?
I had 4. So I had Austin P, UMass Lowell, USC Upstate and Lipscomb.
But it came down to USC Upstate and Lipscomb, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so you end up going to Lipscomb. It's not the start you probably wanted, per se. You're not playing very much, and then all of a sudden, Josh Williams goes down with an ACL injury, and you come onto the scene. Tell me a little bit about what's going through your mind at the beginning when you're not playing as much, and then what goes through your mind. Like, obviously, we lose a teammate. That hurts everybody. But you're also looking back on it, hindsight 2020. It's like, man, I hated that for Josh, but it was also a time for me to step up, and it allowed me to be who I am today. So tell me a little bit about that.
Man, I remember my freshman year when I was all upset. I was calling my parents. I don't belong in Division I basketball. I ain't getting no playing time. Just, this and that. Just being discouraged because it was the first time I've really ever sit on the bench. And of course, you don't want any of your teammates to get hurt. I mean, Josh was our best player. It was tough to see him go down, but that was one of those things where you just kind of got to step up when there's an opportunity, or you ain't ever going to get another opportunity. I mean, maybe not, but so yeah, it was tough to see him go down, but I knew that I had to try to take advantage of it, or it was going to be a long 4 years or whatever. But I remember, man, just sitting there on the bench, just hating it, just being like, killing me not being on the court. It was the first time, and I was just discouraged, calling my parents, all that crap. So it was a tough little stretch there.
Yeah, well, I was waiting for my moment too. Then you kind of came in and took it. So thanks a lot for that one. All right,
hey,
so
he wasn't letting it back either.
Let me back up for a little bit, back to kind of the Lipscomb USC upstate thing. And I think you know this story. That's the only reason I'm going to say it. But you were not number one for that class on Lipscomb's recruiting board, right?
No.
Yeah,
by a
exactly.
long shot.
Yeah, I know. So there really wasn't like these nobody, in all honesty, thought that you were going to come to Lipscomb and do what you did, right? So tell us a little bit more about that mindset. Obviously, you talked a little bit about Josh getting hurt and having to step up. Talk to us a little bit more about that whole mindset, you being the underdog, not having those expectations, and then kind of to where it led you and where you are now. Tell me about that whole mindset.
Well, I've always hated, not being the best at what I do. Through middle school, high school, whatever, like football, I always wanted to be the best, and I always, fought as hard as I could to be the best. And when I was I was the best on my high school team, one of the best on the football team. Like when I got to college, it took a hit to my pride that I was just sitting there on the bench. I wasn't, even when I came in my freshman year, I wasn't the go-to guy, and it took a lot of extra motivation just from me wanting to be the best all the time, to really, after my freshman year, to sit down and be like, all right, what is it that I really want to do? Do I want to be the best? Do I want to give this thing my all? Or do I want to just have a fun, 4 years in college? And that's really when I sat down. I was like, all right, I'm not going to be doing what I'm doing outside of basketball anymore. I'm just going to try to buckle down and work as hard as I can. Because like I said, man, sitting on the bench is discouraging to me, and I cannot stand sitting on the bench watching people play. So that was kind of motivation enough for me.
Yeah, man. Hey, and so all of a sudden from there on, you jump on the scene and you hit it going full force. I mean, make an impact immediately your freshman year. You got robbed. I'll go ahead and say it. You got robbed of freshman of the year, and then I will go ahead and say it again. I think you got robbed of another player of the year award. But when you're going through this and you're working, people don't get to see that work. People just see the results. So I got to see that work personally. I got to see all the times you woke up in the morning. Not all of them, but I got to see a lot of them. And when you're doing all this extra work. So just for the people out there, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. So when you're going through it, walk me through the day of the life of Garrison Mathews in college, because some people think that it was just, he probably went to class and then he probably went to practice and he might've gotten some extra shots, but that was not you at all.
No, man, it was a grind, and I worked with Jordan religiously in the off season, and outside of practice, I'd be waking up early before classes, whether it be like me and Rob would run conditioning sometimes in the mornings at like 6 or whatever it may be. And it wasn't just go to practice and do my work and get out. It was definitely a lot more that have to do with that. It would be in the off season, it would be, wake up early, multiple workouts throughout the day, definitely weights. I hang my hat a lot on weights because I believe that has a ton to do with my success now. So I do a lot of weights.
And the creatine too, and the creatine.
A lot of creatine, a lot of protein. But no, man, it's it takes a lot of work, especially and just waking up early and grinding has something to do, builds discipline. It's not easy to do, and it's easy to do every once in a while, but it's really when you become consistent with it that really kind of changes you.
You kind of got to build that habit. You got to build that habit and get in the routine and the swing of things of doing it every single day. And then eventually, it kind of, obviously it did for you. It became second nature.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It was, and I had a lot of people. It wasn't just me, man. I had a lot of people around me helping me. I mean, from teammates to, Jordan outside, those helping me to, everybody's. It wasn't just me on my own. It was people that were pushing me as well. Just all those things put together helped.
Can you talk to us? Can you talk to us about what changed from your freshman, not necessarily you personally, but just from where we were as a team, your freshman year to where y'all ended up as a team, Nate's grad year, your senior year, to being in the finals of the NIT in Madison Square Garden. Talk to us about like the change in the culture and the team throughout your 4 years there, and kind of how that happened and the direction that it took.
Man, I remember this specific example where I was walking in the student center one day, and I went up and talked to somebody and that worked at the school, and he was like, all the years before kind of your class and the guys that Casey was bringing in, like, there's no way one of the best players at Lipscomb would come up and talk to us just randomly in the student center. Coach Alexander and all of us really tried to build a culture of like the whole community, not just being by ourselves as a team.
Mm-hmm.
The community aspect that we built like with our culture was tremendous and like huge. And you could see a lot of people went from completely disliking the basketball players to backing the basketball players 100%.
Yeah.
So that was one of the biggest, I think, culture changes that we made.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so obviously we're the Mind of a Coach podcast. That's what we're talking about. We're trying to get inside the mind of a coach, but we also think it's very important to understand players as well. And especially one of the most successful players in, honestly, mid-major basketball. So I'm just curious, going into the coaching realm, what is one of the biggest takeaways you took from your experience with the coaches at Lipscomb? What is the biggest impact they made on you? If they made a huge impact on you, if they did not, if they helped you on the court, if they did not, anything that you can bring into the game or that you learned from the game or from without the game from a coach.
And I think the biggest thing for me was the relationship aspect. I mean, it's way easier to play for somebody that you have a personal relationship with. Yeah. That you believe cares about you, that believe that wants you to be a better man. I mean, it's the 4 years that the relationships I got to build with the coaching staff was just something I would go back and do all over again. I mean, they've helped me so much. Yeah. They have on the court, but off the court, I mean, I had all these issues that the coaches were always having my back with off the court that, you don't get at a lot of universities. Yeah. And that was one of the biggest things for me. And I've always been a relationship guy, whether it be from, picking an agent to picking a school to picking whatever, relationships is huge to me. And that building those over the 4 years at Lipscomb has been one of the best times of my life for sure.
Yeah, I would completely agree with that. 100%. I think the coaches at Lipscomb were pretty adamant about building relationships, whether it was Coach Eastrom, Coach Tiliano, Coach Draben. I mean, I remember Coach Alexander. I remember Coach Draben. I don't know if he ever did this for you. He did to a lot of point guards, but he did. He was like every single week he was trying to meet with us. I think it might have been your freshman or sophomore year.
I do, yeah.
But he was like trying to be so intentional about it. Do you remember it, Asa?
Yeah, I do. He would. Yeah, I do remember that. Absolutely. We went out to lunch together. He was asking a lot of the players to go out to eat lunch with him, just one-on-one.
Yeah, and I thought that was something that was not just like one person. Like, it was pretty intentional throughout the staff. So I think we all were very lucky to have very personal, intimate relationships like with these coaches. And we don't. And I mean, at the college level, usually it's just like a contractual relationship that goes on, and it was definitely not that at Lipscomb.
Yeah, and Garrison's totally right. It's much easier to play for somebody who cares about you and loves you and cares about your well-being off the court as well. So speaking of contractual, Garrison, I want you to talk to us about the process from the time that the NIT finals ended throughout draft night, through you signing, and then kind of stop there before the season started. But walk me through that whole process, because you were back in the gym pretty quickly after that NIT final.
Yeah, bro, it was tough. I remember, and we were one of the 5 or 6 teams left playing in the country. So
Yeah,
we
they're
were
one of the
playing
big
late.
dogs.
Yeah.
And I took I think a weekend off right after that, and then I was back at it, and I was looking for an agent. I knew who I was pretty much going to sign with. I built a relationship with him throughout my whole senior year, pretty much. Ended up signing with him, and then going to Myrtle Beach for a month through my pre-draft, and flying to different teams, doing different draft workouts and stuff, and then. Draft night was tough. Like I knew I probably wasn't gonna get drafted, but then there was still a chance. And then when it didn't happen, I was a little discouraged, but my agent called me like at midnight that night. He was like, yeah, the Wizards want to do a 2-way. So, that was encouraging. So then I was in DC that next week doing a little mini camp before summer league. And then, summer league happened, and it all happened quick, man. It was, we played late, and there was really no time off whatsoever.
How much? I mean, I know obviously. How much of a grind is it actually going from city to city, place to place, doing these different workouts and stuff? I mean, is it that intense and that rigorous of a schedule?
It's tough, man. I'm telling you, I flew from city to city, and it's not like one of these workouts where you're like you're going through the motions, you're trying to, but it's like 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3, full court, like for an hour straight, just like busting it, and it's physical, and and then you go to a city the next day and you do the same thing, and it's wear and tear on your body, man. It's tough. It's not easy.
I actually have a question going off that as well. So you get to the league. Ace, I'm going to speed it up a little bit from there if you don't mind. So he gets to the league. He's playing in the league. So once again, we talked about building relationships was a big part of your coaching or your experience with Lipscomb coaches. How is the NBA different or similar in the regards to coaching? I mean, from the GLeague to the NBA, how the relationships I feel like are not the same, even between players between player to player or player to coach or coach to player. It's just not the same. It's a business. So I just want to know what your take on it is, or if there is a big difference.
Yeah, there's a big time difference, man. I talk to my coaches, and I got a pretty good relationship with our G League head coach, but man, it's nothing like college. I can tell you that. Like I talk to him and stuff, and we go over film and those kind of things, but kind of more on a relationship level, it's not near what college is.
Yeah. So like how do NBA coaches or G League coaches, professional coaches, how do they relate to you, or how do they get the best out of you? Or is it more intrinsic? Is it more within inside yourself? I'm trying to do this because I want to be successful and I want to help these guys around me that I'm building relationships that I'm going through this grind with be successful.
Oh, it's definitely within yourself. I mean, you're getting paid to do it now, and you shouldn't
show up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you're not doing what they think you should be doing, then it's the next man up. I mean, it's a job. It's not in college now where the coach is, trying to bring the best out of you. Now it's you better do your job or it's the next man up,
All right, Garrison. So obviously there's a difference between high school and college coaching. You just mentioned it. If you don't do your job, then you might not have a spot. Does that added pressure in the NBA or professional basketball cause you to perform better or worse, or how do you look at it? Like, I mean, how do you attack that situation? Okay, I'm going to get in the gym more than I did in college, or is it more like, you know what, I'm confident in myself. I know what I can do. I'm already in the gym as much as I could possibly be, and I know I'm going to be successful.
For me, for pro basketball, it's kind of taking a lot less pressure on me. Because, I mean, like you said, man,
Really?
I'm in the gym as much as I can be without getting hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm not going to be the one with the ball in the hands all the time now. I'm not the one taking 20 shots a game. I'm not the one, I'm there to knock down open shots, and I'm there to play defense as hard as I can. And that's really what I just try to focus on. If I'm getting beat on defense, then I'm out the game. So I can't go in there as a rookie. I can't screw up a play. I can't go in there and get beat one-on-one. I can't be not being help side. I can't not box out.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the type of things. I mean, if I miss shots, it happens. But on defense, I have to be in the right spots. I have to be vocal. I have to be boxing out. I have to be in help side, or I'm getting taken out. And it's not having the ball all the time takes a lot of pressure off because I just, I space the floor and I knock down shots when the ball is given to me, and that's it, So on the offensive side, the pressure's way off, but defense, I would say defense, it turns up the pressure just because you have to make sure you're doing the right thing. You have to make sure you're in the right spots. You have to know the players. You have to know the scouting reports, all those things. If you're not, then you're out, And you may not get another opportunity for another, 10 games. You just never know.
All right, I got two questions for you coming up. What is it like to get that first call up to the league after you've been in the G League? You got a two-way. What is it like to get that first call, and what's your mindset going into that game?
Well, I was with the Wizards like throughout the first week or two. They had some injuries, so I was up with them to begin with. And I remember the first time I stepped on the floor was against Dallas, and it was packed. And it was a crazy feeling. I only got in for the last like 30 seconds, but it was crazy just looking around and being like, oh my gosh,
you're there. I'm here.
Yeah. And then, and then as games go by, it slows down tremendously. At first, it's super fast, but, it takes a minute to transition.
Oh, I can't imagine. So I guess my other thing was, if there's something that you haven't talked about yet, was there like something like oh shit moment? Like, I didn't realize this was part of the NBA. I didn't realize this was going to be going on, like on the court, basketball-wise. Like, was there anything like that? That you just like you didn't see coming, kind of?
Well, I tell you what, these guys were a lot harder to guard than college guys, and and you can see it on SportsCenter with me getting dropped. I mean, I remember in college getting dropped like that, and it's just a different type of athlete up there, man. It just is, and that's why I was expecting to be great athletes, but then my first shot of my career, I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander jumped from like the block, it seemed like, and blocked my 3-point shot. I was like, what in the world? So
and you never had a 3-point shot blocked in college.
Yeah, so it took a minute to adjust to that. It was that caught me off guard for sure, just the athleticism.
It's crazy.
Okay, so you're talking about how it was a little bit of adjustment. Obviously, you're getting used to the athleticism. Well, I think you got used to it pretty quick. I mean, you had 28 points, and obviously you look at your first game against Dallas, and you're like, oh, wow, this is crazy. Like, these guys are, like, different, blah, blah. Okay, well, then you have 28 points against the runners-up, and then then the NBA Finals. Walk me through that game. Walk me what's going through Garrison Mathews' head, because it wasn't like it was a quiet 28. It was a very, very, very loud 28, and most of them coming in the first half. How did we have 22 in the first half?
Yeah, I remember before the game, we were watching film as a team, and I remember when my coach was looking at me, because we had a lot of injuries at that point, and he was like, you better be ready to shoot, because like their whole defensive scheme, they're tagging the rollers. So on the back side, fill up, there's shots to be had. And so, I went into that game with him telling me that, be like, look, I'm just going to pull that thing when I get in there. Like, it's not, I don't get many opportunities, and so I'm going to try to take advantage of it and just shoot it. So
I was about to say, hey, you ain't going to tell Gary twice. If you're telling Gary to shoot the ball, you're going to shoot that ball.
Coach Brooks lets me hear that too.
Yeah,
he said,
I think it's pretty smart.
He'll be drawing up plays sometimes. Be like, now you realize you ain't got to shoot it if you touch it, right?
I 100% believe that, man. That's great.
No, you're like, but that's what I do. That's why I'm here.
That's cool. Yo, that's so cool to hear that, like, there's already stories, like little just banter going on between you and the head coach, like that. I think that's so cool that you kind of already got to a point where you can establish yourself. You've had games where you've made some noise, and there's already stuff like that that's been going on. That has to be cool. Yeah,
it was cool. I tell you what, when we were in training camp, Coach Alexander, when we were practicing, we try to play all out when we're playing and, diving on balls in practice and all this and that. But it's like when you get in the league, I was guarding Brad, I think, and I dove on a ball and accidentally hit Brad's knees, and you could just hear just everybody just like, oh. And I was like, what's going on? And I look, and Brad's on the ground. I'm like, oh God. And then I did it again to somebody
I
else.
just took $40 million away from the Wizards.
Yeah, and I did it again to somebody like 2 weeks later, and you know, I'm just over here trying to get a stop, like diving on the ball and
Yeah.
stuff. And you know, they're like, then finally, Coach called a huddle. He's like, you know, we're not going to be diving on balls like that. I mean, you know, it's just different.
You can do it in a game, but don't do it here.
That is
Yeah.
hilarious. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. I'll never forget my freshman year. There was a loose ball. I picked it up, and then all of a sudden, Ace is diving at my knee. So, hey,
I remember
sometimes
that,
the
Nate.
knees happen.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you sprained my MCL.
No, I didn't.
Yes, I did. I was out for 3 weeks.
No, you weren't. Nate, you were not out for 3 weeks after that play.
Yes, I was, Asa.
We're calling Casey or Coach. No, you weren't. No, you weren't.
That is fine. I was out for 3 weeks. I had to wear a brace for right after that for a month.
I call it hustle, is what I call it. I don't believe you. I don't believe you were out for 3 weeks after that play.
I was out for 3 weeks.
So you're in your car right now. What kind of car does NBA money get a kid fresh out of college? What kind of car you drive?
No.
What? I want to know what he got.
I had a
Buy a truck. Buddy loves trucks.
I had a 17 Dodge Challenger Scat Pack shaker, but totaled that. So then I bought a Chevy. Did buy a truck.
Yeah.
What is all right? What is
Okay, so for the viewers out there, no, Asa, my turn. So for the viewers out there, Garrison has a love of his life right now, and it's in the form of a dog. Tell us a little bit about your pup.
Samson, that's my boy, man.
Yes.
He's coming up. Actually, he just turned 9 months. 9 months old. He's a cane corso, all black.
Oh, those are great dogs.
One of the biggest babies you'll ever meet. You know, ain't got an aggressive bone in his body. But I tell you what, when he runs up to somebody trying to say hi, though, he looks scary and people freak out.
Oh yeah.
He's probably a little over 100 pounds, but
Oh my goodness. Oh my.
He's still growing.
You remember when he came over? He came over and he was like, I mean, he was probably 5 to 10 pounds at the time, and he was already bullying my dog. So I don't know if I need to put my dog near him now.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Hey, all right. How long, like during the season, how long are y'all on the court practicing during the year while games are like during the day?
I never practiced one time with the Wizards. You know, I only played games with them, but I practiced with the GLeague. In GLeague, we're practicing damn near 5-on-5 the whole practice, like for an hour. It's tough, man. It's a lot of, you know, I'm playing games and then doing that. It's just, you know, because John Wall, he was rehabbing and, you know, this and that. And so he played with us some. So it was man, constant 5-on-5. You know?
Interesting. All right, I got another question.
Yeah, I heard John Wall had a pretty good dunk during one of the practices. Is that true?
So
I didn't hear it about that. I must have been sick that day. Took a sick day.
Oh man.
It happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you get to say it's John Wall. Unfortunately, we get to say it's somebody from a rec center or something.
Matt Merritt.
John Matt Merritt.
All right, hey, all right, kind of a serious question. What you said, y'all, you know, scouting and film, that's important. What's the difference in scouting and film from college and pros? Is there a difference? Are y'all watching the same amount? Are y'all watching more? Are y'all looking at the same tendencies? What's the difference in it, if there isn't?
Yeah, that's a great
question. I watch a ton of personnel clips, like with one of my my player development coach. You know, before games, we're going over personnel clips, and really it's just all about knowing who you're guarding and what their tendencies are and studying the scouting report. I mean, we'll watch a little bit of, you know, what we do on offense and what they're doing on defense and this and that, and then we'll go over their sets as a team before games and stuff. But a lot of it is going over personnel of like who you're guarding with your personnel coach.
Okay, gotcha. So more post.
Yeah, that's interesting. So I mean, that's like, do you guys have a lot of team film sessions, or is it more just trying to figure out how you're guarding the individual?
No, we'll have a team session before the game, like right before the game. But the majority is, with your player development coach, figuring out what this guy likes to do, or figuring out what a few guys like to do who you could be guarding. It's just a ton of tendencies and just studying the one-on-one game, stuff like that.
Gotcha. That's interesting for sure, because I mean, in college, I mean, you can advocate for this. We didn't go over a lot of, we had probably like 4 or 5 personnel clips, and it was like their highlights of the season. It was like, oh wow, this guy is amazing. But it's not like you would ever figure out, you might not know exactly what he likes to do. You could look at the sheet and be like, okay, he shoots 40% from 3, he shoots 25% from 2. Yes, I just told myself my scouting report, probably my junior year, but okay, he's probably going to be just a catch and shoot shooter. Okay, I'm not going to learn anything else. Like, I don't know that, like, if anybody was to watch film on me, it was like, okay, I'm just going to go right and I'm going to pass, or I'm going to catch and shoot. So you guys actually, like, understand those tendencies a lot better. So, like, was that a pretty big adjustment for you?
Yeah, it was a lot. And if they do something and it's on the scouting report and you don't know it, then you're out. You have to know their tendencies. You have to study the little sheet they give you before the game of what they like to do, where they're going, the majority of what they're doing, and then watching a lot of clips on them, what they like to do. And if you get burnt on something they showed you, you're out. You know what I mean? You have to know that stuff, especially as a rookie. You don't get any leeway.
Yeah,
I believe that.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So how about this? Couple more questions. We'll probably wrap up here in a little bit. Who is the toughest player you had to guard this year?
Oh man. I'd probably have to say DJ Augustine, since he's the one who dropped me. I mean, I got switched on him, and I don't think I was supposed to get switched on him. I don't remember exactly what happened, but he hit me with 2 crossovers, and he left me there. Got an and 1. That was tough, but I guarded like RJ Barrett was pretty good. I mean, he was tough to guard.
Yeah.
I got switched on to Julius Randle one game. That dude is freaking huge.
He's gigantic.
I could guard. I mean, really, because I switch with a lot of people. Like, could get switched on, whoever,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Julius Randle is a large human.
He's a hoss.
Large. Well, Garrison, we appreciate you coming on tonight. You definitely didn't have to, but obviously you're a brother, you're a friend, you're one of the best to ever do it, and we love you more than just being a basketball player. I mean, at the end of the day, that goes away, but the person you are and who you continue to become, that's the person I love. And I'm just grateful to call you my friend, and all the basketball knowledge you just shared. I mean, we never got to play in the NBA. So the fact that we get to hear from a guy that's done it and who's going to continue to do it and do it for a long time and be very successful at it, and that's just who you are. You're a hard worker. And you're not going to take no for an answer, and you're going to keep going after it. So I love you. Thank you for joining in to the Mind of a Coach podcast. Once again, this is your host, Coach Nathan Moran, Coach Asa Duval, our guest, Garrison Mathews. Garrison, where can the viewers find you on social media?
Well, first of all, man, I appreciate that. That was a nice little send-off, bro. I love y'all boys, too.
Yeah, I was not going to go that nice on you, but yeah.
Yeah, I know you. You said what was your question, Nate?
Where could the people listening right now find you on social media?
On what's my Twitter handle?
Yes, Twitter handle, Instagram
media. Last time
handle.
I checked.
G Mathews _24. That's my Twitter handle.
Gotcha. Is that the same thing on Instagram?
I think Instagram may be Garrison.
Just look up Garrison Mathews. You'll find him.
Yeah, you'll
Garrison
find me
Mathews.
somehow.
You got a blue check, so you can't be that hard to find.
Blue check. He's official now. He's official.
Right.
But you can find our page at Mind of a Coach 1 on Twitter, yes. And you can find Mind of a Coach on Instagram. You can find Asa at the Ace of Spades with a Z on the end. And you can find my page as well at Nate5_Moran. Guys, we thank you for tuning in. Garrison, thank you for coming on. We look forward to seeing you guys next week.
Peace.
I appreciate y'all.